Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Hey, today I have a part 2 with my Rick Hinderer XM-18 right here, knife I received and did an unboxing on. I wanted to move the clip around, and in order to do that, I also wanted to replace the scale, by the way, but in order to do that, I need the special pivot tool. And that's always a challenge. I don't know if you're willing to pay I don't know if they're 75 or 150 bucks, whatever they are, but they're a little expensive. And if you're in a pinch until you can get one of those, there's a kind of a workaround that you can do. Obviously, you can get a nice big flathead screwdriver. I recommend you wrap it up. This is just regular tape, but you could probably use masking tape, would probably be a little better on that. And then get some pliers, and you can take a penny like this. And what I did is I took my penny and I held it here, and then I clipped this off. And of course, I use a second pair of pliers and I'll pull that off. Now, you got to be real careful, and I wanted to show you this one because this was a bad one. This was too wide, okay, and I thought if I clipped the tip off it fit in nicely, but now it's too big to get in there, right? So this is no good. This other one is better. It does fit in there, but it doesn't go all the way in there. And so, you know, I'm kind of torn between, here's one that I didn't clip the tips off and it's a little smoother, and it does, let's see if we can get in there. It does fit. I'm gonna make sure you guys can see that. See, it does fit in there like that, right? And that's what you need it to do. So you can leverage it, because what happens is once you start moving this, see that screw starts to move like that. So this is going to be what you're going to hold it with, all right? And then, of course, I needed my screwdriver here to take off these little screwdrivers here. So let's go ahead and begin with that, because I did want to move this around, because those are too, I don't like tip down. Ooh, almost lost my screwdriver. Forget this is not magnetic. I'm always used to having magnetic bits, right? So let's go ahead and put this over here. And then what I want to do is move this over here. So this is a fill-in piece right here. Kind of goes in like that. So we're going to put that up on top here. Now, one thing I do want to do, because you saw the screws were a little loose, put a little Loctite in there. But you know what, before I do that, let's hold off on that. We will put those over here for now, and then we'll put the screws in. But let's go ahead and get this puppy apart so we can take the scales off. So what I like to do is I'm going to use this right here. I'll move this out of the way. Move this out of the way. I'm going to use this to kind of hold it here. I just want to get this into the spots. So you notice this. I believe you can get a 14... number 14, gosh, I forget what it's called. I'll try to remember that tool, but if not, I'll put it in the thing. But it's equivalent to that tool, number 14 width-wise. All right, so let's see if we can get this. All right, so now we're keeping that from moving, and I'm able to unscrew this. It's a long, I forgot how long these screws are. They go all the way through like this. Oops, come on now, stay there. Scratch myself doing that, huh? All right. Typically, I'd hold this a little closer to my chest, but I'm trying to do this so you guys can see this. But I may have to take this off screen so I can finish this part, because it's a little, yeah, I'm going to do that. So I'll come right back. You know, I just realized the screw is from the middle there. I can just put the penny in there like this now, and that should hold it just fine. So let's get these screws off. I believe these are T8s. So there you are, T8s. Pretty deep screws, pretty heavy stock screws. I like that. Definitely USA tough built, no questions about that. Of course, I lose all of that. And all I wanted to do was just replace this Now, these are the washers that they use, if you wanted to take a look at those. And they do sell some skiff washers, for sure. Might get those. I mean, the action's really great. Don't get me wrong. The action's really, really pretty fantastic on this knife. But I wouldn't mind getting some skiff washers. Since I have it apart, let me go ahead and just clean that real quick. I don't know if there's anything to clean. I don't think there's any oil in here whatsoever. So I'm going to get these tools away. We don't need those anymore. And don't need that. I think pretty clean. There's nothing in there. I think this knife is pretty dry. So the question is, you know, some people are very adamant. They don't think any oil whatsoever is in there. And I get that, and that's fine. That's your call, that's your cup of tea, then go for it, right? Don't do any oil. Now there is a little bit of dirt in there, I can see that. All right, so then I'm gonna go put a little oil in this. I do like to put, don't use a whole bunch, but I do use a little bit, right? And this one is beveled out. I don't know if you can see that. You see how that's out a little bit? So that means I'm going to take this washer and face the open exposed part down there. Skiff cage ceramic ball bearings are a little different than this, right? Okay. Don't need a whole lot of oil. You know, while we're here, in case you're curious, I'll show you the pivot size. So this is the full 1/4 pivot, okay? And these washers are going to be 1/16, right? So that's about the size. But he has a spreadsheet that you can follow. It's really good. It has all that information on there. Drop that on there. I just let 1 or 2 drops. And the detent ball is over there, so let's go ahead and put a little small amount of detent oil. So this is the 10 weight Nano-Oil, you can't see it, and this is the 85 weight. I have a little bit left in these guys. I wanted to use the rest before I use my new tubes. All right, then we're gonna get our, let's put these back in over here. And of course I forgot, the whole point of me putting those in was put my backspacer, not backspacer, sorry, my standoffs in there. There we go. Let's do that again, one more time. There we go. Now we're all set. Then we're going to put this on here. Ooh, don't pick it up. Don't pick it up, Robert. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, don't pick it up until you put the screw in. So that I got to do first. All right, so before I do that, here are my 3 screws for that. But I need a little Loctite. I think I'm going to be fairly okay to go ahead and do the Loctite now. I should be. Don't need a whole lot on there. So I reverse thread till I hear the click. Not going to super tighten it right away. First I want to make sure everything's in there correctly. Loctite takes an hour or more to really dry and set, and sometimes I even recommend to let it sit overnight. Now we're going to put this on. Yeah, I might put a little bit of Loctite on there. I'm hoping everything's good and easily on. We'll find out. If I can hold it with my finger, I can do this a little quicker to get it through. It's not until I get to a certain point where I'm going to need that penny. I want to make sure I'm nice and centered so I'm not scratching anything. All right, now we're at this point where I probably need that penny. Maybe, I don't know. Oh no, one of my spacers came out. I'm gonna have to oops. Let's make sure the spacers are in there. Yeah, they're in there. Gotta double check that. Apparently that's, make sure you do that. If you do, don't do me. Don't do what I did. I don't think we're quite centered. I think we're off a little to the left. And I thought it was like that beforehand. Let me get my piece of paper over here. We'll do a little centering first. So we're a little over to the left right now. I don't know if you can quite see that. It's ever so slightly, but it's enough for me. So what you do is you loosen this up a little bit. Good. Starting to tighten up with that Loctite, so I got to be quick here. Loosen up the body screws just a little bit. Okay. Put that in here. Now what I got to do is tighten up the pivot screw. Tighten it pretty good, really tight. And we tighten up the body screw next. That looks pretty darn close. That's being a little OCD here, I know, but it's pretty. Oh, it might be almost perfect. Need blade rock. Yeah, that's pretty close. I'm going to dig that. All right, so we want the clip on this side, and we want, that's the one that goes right like that. We'll go ahead and get a little Loctite on this. Trying to see what is my angle. Can do it on this side, no problem. All right, so as long as the angle is like this, and when what is, all right guys, sorry, I'm just trying to figure out why. It's a little weird to reverse flick. I shouldn't have any problems with this. I'm thinking trying to figure out the physics and the angle of the best reverse flick with the left hand here. So, and I can see that I have a little stuff inside my some tape left over here. Got a piece of tape that was stuck from the screwdriver. No blade rock. Nice drop action. Oh, see, that's what I wanted to avoid. Let me see, did I cut myself? Can't show that on the camera. I think you can get demonetized for showing blood or something. Anyways, fortunately I didn't. Nice action. I really do like the action. And it's easier to hold down here with the clip on this side. I did have another clip, and I thought it was a Rick Hinderer clip, but it turns out it was a ZT clip for a zero tolerance. And I think it would fit, but it would look kind of awkward, right? It wouldn't really fit in there like I would like it to fit in there. So yeah, I wasn't gonna use it. So anyways, there we go. Nice action. So don't get me wrong, I like the red scale. I think the red scale was cool, but I don't know. I mean, that's cool, definitely, but it's not really red. To me, that's more of a burgundy, right? It's not really red. And it would be cool for wear something red Fridays, but I don't know. I'd like it to be a little brighter or something. What I'd love to see is a fat carbon or carbon fiber scale if I can't get titanium. That's what I would like. But this is nice. I do like this look a little bit better. It's more subtle, a little classier, kind of downplayed a little bit for a Hinderer, right? So I like that. Kind of a subtle, more conservative look, if you will. I like that. Action's pretty good. It's got a nice snap with that thumb studs. That's really cool. Yep, we can still middle finger reverse flick it. So I can do the middle finger, get in here and reverse flick. So that's really nice. Wonder if I can do it with the left hand over here. Can I get in there? No. Nope. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. I don't know if it needs to break in a little bit or what, but maybe I'll get there. I know with my McNees I had to break in a little bit, and then it finally got there, so that was nice. But maybe this is one of these weird ones where I have to get up here to kind of flick it, you know? Get that upper angle. It seems, if I'm up here, yeah, I can do that. The angle works up there like that. So if I hold it up here like this, I can do that. That's how I do my McNees. Got to hold it up here and, sorry, go up here like that. Oops. Well, I was just doing it up here and flick it like that, and it does do it. But it would be nice to be able to put my hand down here and then just flick it like that. But it seems I need to keep it from turning. If I do that, I got to hold it down. So it's almost like, can I hold it like that and this? And then get the right angle with this one finger here? You'd think I would, but when I do it like this, wait, let me do it again. It works like that, but I guess I'm going to work on that. Maybe, if any of you guys have had the same issues or figured the secret trick with the XM-18 non-flipper, let me know. I mean, it's definitely a non-flipper, so the detent is going to be a little weaker, if you will, than the flipper. I mean, I believe that's by design. And every time I look at this, I feel like it's shifted left, but I'm not sure if that's an illusion. Yeah, I think it's an illusion. And it's because of the scales, right? I think the scales are what's throwing me off. So if I dead center it here, and I look at the tip is centered. I don't know, it could be the grind of the blade. Sometimes that's weird. The tip could be dead centered, but the grind of the blade here, it could be one side is ground not perfectly as the other one. And that happens because some of these are done by hand. I know McNees, he does his by hand. And I know the Fuller on his wasn't exactly the same, but you know, I'm okay with that because it's a hand ground Tonto, and to me, I'm all right with that. I'm no complaints there. I love the knife, just like I'm really enjoying this knife. There will be a review coming on this knife for sure, right? We'll talk a little bit more about it. I don't know if I'm going to get the clip or not. I might keep this clip. I was thinking of getting that MX gear clip that they have, or MXG gear. I think it's MXG gear or something like that. But I'm not sure if I want that necessarily. We'll see. I would like the titanium scale though. That would be really cool. I think that would be very much enjoyable. So that would be something I would love to add to this for sure. They had some slim scales, but this is not a slim. So these scales are a little thicker, and that means we would have to, well, I don't know if you had the right hardware. Hardware would probably go through and stuff. Oh yeah, I was going to check real quick. Did I scratch that blade? Here. I don't know if I did. Huh. Let's see. Do a little stropping here. See if we scratch that blade or not. You know what I'm talking about. If you weren't familiar, one of these standoffs here, there's a pivot that goes through the standoff, and it's not the standoff itself. It's not screwed into. It's screwed into this pivot that goes between these two. And when I put this through, I picked this up, and I guess this standoff came back just enough where that slid down, and I pushed it back in, not knowing that the standoff was inside here, not with the inside the pivot. And so then when I closed the blade first, it hit it, and I think it hit it right there. So it would be somewhere here, and I'm not feeling any burrs or anything like that. So I don't think I chipped it or anything. So that's good. Maybe just a little other stropping. We'll just make sure it's perfect again. Now S45 VN steel is really nice. It's a variant. So it started off with the S30V, and then it became the S35 VN, which was I believe a Rick Hinderer specific one, variant of the S30. That was a better edge retention. I believe it was a little more corrosion resistant. It's just a better steel. The S45 VN is not necessarily a better edge retention than S35 VN, but it is more corrosion resistant. And there's some benefits to it. I actually have it on my Spydercos. Today I was carrying a Mannix. Let me see. I'm carrying Mannix, and that's S110V. Totally different type of steel, right? It's super edge retention, but not as tough maybe as S45VN. So S45VN has the properties of toughness and corrosion resistant. Loses a little bit on the edge to the S35VN, but most people will never know unless you do a lot of prolonged cutting, where you would see that over time, right? But if you do a lot of just slicing, like if you're out there gutting or slicing like from hunting, you know, S90V steel is great, and S110V steel is great. Now the S110V, you want to be careful with bones, I think, because potentially could chip it depending. Spyderco does a good job on their heat treat. Now, I'm pretty sure Rick Hinderer does a pretty good job on his S45, S35VN, since they were kind of key folks in making that steel. So I feel pretty good about that. I would love to maybe get a MagnaCut from them one day, but I'm not a big fan of their 61 Rockwell hardness. I wish it was at least 62 or 63. So, you know, I was happy to get an S45VN. So I was more inclined to get this version than I was to get a MagnaCut. I didn't feel that I wanted to deal with the MagnaCut. Now, MagnaCut at 61 Rockwell hardness is going to be a little tougher for sure. So, I mean, we can argue this all day long, right? The lower Rockwell hardness on a MagnaCut is going to be a little tougher knife. It's not going to chip. It's not going to do all those things. But a higher Rockwell hardness is going to have a better edge retention. This is going to be, you know, you give and take. That's the cool thing about MagnaCut. MagnaCut has some unique properties on how you heat treat it and what benefits you get out of it. And I wonder that's why, you know, Tactile Knife Company, they do the Rockwell flip thumb stud one. That one's still being heat treated at 61, but when they do the Maverick and they're doing their Dread Eye at 63, 64. So, you know, there's that. And you just kind of have to think about what do you want to do with that. So, right. But S45VN, I was pretty excited to get that. I like this. I think I like this color better in this version until I can get the titanium. What I like about that is even if I do get the titanium, I can dye this at some point. I really, really want to dye a knife, and I've yet to do that. And I'm just kind of curious what color I want to do. This is okay, and I could put this back on, but I think I would prefer a
And you can see that Rick Hinderer logo. It was etched in on this one here, but that's the Rick Hinderer logo. I think I would like to very much, I don't know. Yeah, so here's the one that I got. It's the XM-18, and it's a Hinderer, and it's directly from Rick Hinderer. So it's XM-18 3.5 scale texture G10 translucent green. They call it Jade G10, but it's because it's clear. There's no dyes in it, so you can dye this any color you want, which I like. I think that's kind of cool. I like the action for sure. It's a nice, robust knife. Definitely got some size to it. I can tell you with the clip down here in my opening, the clip was tip down, or yeah, tip down. I didn't like that, and it made you force you to carry it like this in your pocket with this edge in here, and it could still kind of pop out. I felt, you know, that's why I like the tip up and in like this, because it's against your pants pocket. So for me, I preferred that. But anyways, I will say that when I had the clip on that one, and I was holding the clip with the clip up here, and you're squeezing, it wasn't as comfortable. Now here, this clip feels more comfortable. This roundedness and all this stuff doesn't dig in. And then when I choke up, it's fine too. It's not, I don't think there's a hot spot. Is there a hot spot? Feel that. Might be a little bit there, but it's not, here it's perfect. If you choke up, but then again, you know, this could be a precision cut that you're doing anyways. Interesting drop point. It has that pseudo, this is close to one of my favorite blade shapes, right? If you had the swedge up here, a little more of a swedge, kind of pronounced, and that came down a little sharper with a curve, that is my favorite blade shape. And it's like a pseudo, I call it a pseudo, it's a drop point, but it looks like a pseudo tanto. It's like it wants to be a tanto, but someone screwed up and they rounded it. That's what it is. It has like all the inclinations of a tanto without the dual grind, right? Single grind, flat grind, or you know, hollow grind or whatever. But I like that. So anyways, there you go. That's the XM-18 with the clip removed, showing you what that was and how I did that. Sorry, with the clip removed and switched, and then putting on the Jade G10 scale from this one here, showing you the washers. I think I'm going to get the washers and probably want to put those in. And I may, when I do that, I may sand this down just a little bit, because over here on this one you can see the edge is pretty sharp. And it would be nice to have a little more cutaway right here. I mean, it's not critical because it's got a nice chamfering right here on this, and it's almost radial, but it's not. It's rounded just enough, and it's big enough that radial doesn't dig in. So they get away with it really well. I had another knife that did the radial in a small version, it worked fine, but in the larger version, it was so radiused grind in there that it hurt when you went in there, and it wasn't a whole lot of relief to get in there. They didn't really have any relief cutting out here, and there wasn't any chamfering or anything going on the inside of here. So there you go. All right, well, that is my little handy dandy, swap and stuff. I don't know if you found this helpful or interesting. Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. You tell me what you thought was helpful, what you'd like to see when I do something like this. I am more than happy to share and focus in on something that might be of value to you guys. If you have any questions about what I did, how I did it, let me know as well. I'm going to throw these other pennies out because they basically don't work. This is going to be my tool penny from now on. And I am going to get a 1/4 inch flathead screwdriver, a large one like this right here. This is a little awkward with the long one. It would be nice to put a little 1/4 inch one on something like this so I can hold and do that together. I think that would be a little easier with the penny, so I could hold the knife in like this and do it like that. Yeah, that would be cool. And then maybe get a small Phillips for these if I need to tighten those up as well. I think that's a couple of tools I want to get for that. But anyways, there you go. Let me know again any questions you have, anything you'd like to know about this. I'd be happy to answer them. Hey, if you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, or entertaining, would you please consider hitting that like button down below? And if you've hit that like button, would you consider subscribing to the channel? Subscribing and liking the channel really, really helps out the channel a lot, allows me to grow, do more content, provide more things. And if you've done that, then would you mind consider hitting the notification button so you can be notified of future content when it is released. If you've done all that, then maybe consider checking me out over on, I got something in my card here, over on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Hey, thanks so much for watching today. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.